Hi, my name is Konasumi, and welcome to my AGDQ submission video for Road Trip Adventure. Time begins in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, this is Road Trip Adventure. Possibly the shortest RPG ever, where you play as a car in a car-filled world. So the president of the world decided that he does not want to be president anymore, and he will be giving his presidency to the person who wins the World Grand Prix. But we're going to be skipping all of that by doing some pretty cool exploits later on. So as you can see, this game is pretty open world, and because of that, we're able to go wherever we want. And the first thing we want to do is we want to go into the ocean. You know, just normal Sunday driving. So we can go to Papaya Island and then complete side quests. And also, this game has a pretty good soundtrack too by the Push Kings. I'll let you guys listen to that for a little bit. So as you can see, we are now driving underwater. Cars can drive underwater in this game without any problems. You just go a little bit slower than usual. And as you can see, we do have a fuel meter on the speedometer in the bottom right hand corner. At later points in the run, we have to be very careful about managing our fuel, and it's a very, very important element of this game. Shoutouts to all the 4s in chat. So now we're getting pretty close to Papaya Island. I know where I can go because I see these pillars here. They're a very good indication about where I am in the ocean. You can kind of tell where you're going based off of like the parts of the land you're driving on, but those pillars are possibly the best visual cue for that. Alright, we're just about to get onto shore. Now we're on Papaya Island. So now what we gotta do, we gotta set a warp point. And we can do that by going into the Q factory right here. Every city in this game has a Q factory. And by going to each city's Q factory, you can warp back to that city at any point. Which is pretty useful later on. So now we gotta go over to a house on the other part of the island so we can do a side quest that I mentioned earlier. And coming up here is a pretty difficult jump on the American version of the game, so hopefully I don't miss it. I gotta build up a lot of speed to get it. Ah, I missed it. Like I said earlier, this jump is pretty tricky to get. So now I'll be doing a backup strat, which involves a pretty cool physics exploit. This game does have some pretty weird physics, and we can use it to our benefit right here. If we go off at an angle right here. Ah, that sucks, dude. For that time, I didn't have enough speed for that jump. So we gotta build up even more. Gonna go on the outside here. And then go off of the angle like that. It is possible to do it the way where you have to... where you just go off normally, but that's kind of hard to get on the American version of the game. So now we are in Sandro's house, and we have to go get his wife back. And once we do that for him, we can get some rockets for our car, which is pretty cool. What's up, Tab, MM, Kyler, everybody else in chat? So, thankfully, Kiori, the person we have to find, is very close by. As you can see, she's the green car driving around. We just have to go bump into her. And then she's found. Just spam through that dialogue. And now we have to go back to the guy's house, right? And there's a pretty cool strat you can do here, which involves reversing up a cliffside. Let's see if I can get it. It's pretty easy to get, but the setup can be a bit tricky at times. Oh, I almost had it there. There we go. Now you can see I'm on the wall, and we can just drive up at the area we exit out of. Hey, what's up, Kona and Jonah? So this overall saves a good amount of time, because we used to just warp back to the Q factory and then make the entire trip back, but that just took a while. So now we gotta warp back to our starting city, equip our rockets, and then head over to Fuji City. We want to go to Sandopolis so we can grind some money, which is pretty essential to upgrading our car. We gotta get some car parts to beat the final boss of the game. And funny enough, there's a task of this game available on YouTube, which doesn't even use many of the strats, like money grinding and stuff like that. It's a really cool task. I'd recommend checking it out. Ah, dang on, I encountered a pretty weird physics bug right there. And right here, I said earlier, you gotta be careful about your fuel. And this part is where it begins to become a worry. Because the rockets do drain your fuel significantly. So you have to be very, very careful not to run out of gas. If you run out of fuel during this part, your car will slow down to a halt. As you can see right here, I'm all out of gas. Thankfully, I can still make it over to the this guy's house right here. He wants some advice, but we're not going to give it to him. And by going into people's houses, you can always refuel your car. We wouldn't be able to make it to Sandopolis without refueling at least once. Hey, what's up, Zotan? Oh no, gotta be careful. Oh no, I'm flying around. No! Okay, that's fine. Sometimes in this game, your car can just go flying off in random directions for seemingly no reason, which is pretty funny at times. Alright, as you can see, Sandopolis is coming up very close. Let's try to land in the closed off part. Yep, we're good to go. That's how you would do it normally, but since this strat right here is not very marathon safe, we're going to be doing a much safer strat with a much higher success rate. Normally you would have to bet on 4 and hope that you would get it. And the trick that you're doing is a couple frame window, and it's not very forgiving at all. So first we gotta make a save file. So if we failed the trick, we can easily come back and attempt it more without any problems. So let's hope we get it. Oh no, the physics again. Oh man. Never ceases to amaze me. Ah, no, I got the 10. One number away from 4. Which means we have to go try it out again. Better luck next time. So like I said earlier, we can just reload our save file and we'll have no problems. We'll be able to try it out again. Gonna warp over to Peach Town. Now we're back in our save file, and we can return to roulette. Alright, hopefully we get a good landing in the building. Oh, that's not a good landing. Yes, I got the 4 strat, second try. That's really good, actually. Getting better at that strat. So now we can move on, get our parts, and go to Cloud Hill to fight the final boss. So now we have a lot of money, and we have to upgrade our car. Conveniently, there's a parts shop on this island that we can go to that has a pretty good selection of parts. Let me just warp to it real quick. It is possible to beat the final boss with the stock parts configuration, but it requires task grade strats. Engine, transmission, brakes, all of that. We gotta have that to go fast. There's a strat you can do where you can go just fly over to the island by reversing on top of the island itself, but unfortunately it's not entirely consistent yet. There's a chance of failure. This strat here is just a bit more safe, so I'll go with that for the marathon run. Also, shoutouts to the Push Kings for being an amazing band. Alright, thankfully we landed on the island first try. And now we're on our way to Cloud Hill by going in this portal right here. So now we gotta go put our parts on our car, because just buying the parts themselves do not equip them automatically. You have to do it yourself. So now our car is all fast now. We are ready to race the president. So right here is the White House, just after this rainbow bridge right here. And we have to do a trick where we fly around the world. We go so far around the world that we loop around and back into the White House to fight the president. If I can get the car into place. I find it funny how this guy's a car, but he's called Gate Man. This takes a bit to do properly. The angle here is pretty lenient, but you gotta be careful. So this works by momentum storage. It's pretty cool. Let's see if I can get it. You have to get it by hitting the wall and the car at the exact same time, which gives you momentum storage. Hopefully I can get it pretty soon here. I don't think he's right up against the wall, so I have to go edit his position. Push him a little bit. Align the car. Got it. So this is President Skip. And as you can see, I am flying backwards. And now we just have to wait a bit. So if you want to read donations for a little bit, feel free to do so. So now we're inside the president's White House, and now we can battle the president. So this race itself is pretty easy with the parts we have. So the main challenge is not running out of gas. Gonna be using the rockets to accelerate more, rather than increase the top speed of the car. Better to have a better average speed than focus on the top end. Especially at this early in the race. Gotta pay close attention to that fuel meter. Typically a good lap is in around 43 to 42 range, with 44 being a pretty good average. Gotta be careful not to run in the walls too, those also get rid of your speed quite a bit. Aw, dang, that was a pretty bad corner right there. Let's see if he can still hit a 42 or a 43 lap time. This will probably be like a 44 or a 45, I assume. Based on all the mistakes I made in this final lap here. Time is coming up in about 5 seconds here. Time. That was a 1750. Thank you all for watching my submission video for AGDQ 2017. Hope you all enjoyed it. And I'll see you all at the marathon, hopefully.